Hello, welcome to 123stitch.com. My name's Wesley.
I'm Hillary.
And today we're going to be talking about a very important part of quilting, the batting. What kind of batting do you need for your quilting projects? This is a very important decision to make. If you're interested in learning more about quilting, everything from tools to complicated patterns, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below so you get notified every time we post a video. In our last video, we talked about the history of quilting and all of the different terminology. We mentioned in there that quilts are typically referred to as a quilt sandwich because you have three different layers: your top, your middle batting, and then your bottom backing. Today, we're going to be talking about all of the different types of batting that you can choose to have for your quilt. What is going to work best for different quilt projects? A lot of it depends on what you plan to use your quilt for in the future. The batting's primary purpose is to give your quilt both weight and warmth. Now, when you're looking at different types of batting, there are two main factors that you're going to want to consider: the loft and the fiber. First, I'm going to be talking about what the different lofts mean, and then Hillary here is going to go over some of the different fiber types. The loft refers to the thickness or puffiness of the batting. Depending on what kind of project you want to make, you'll want to choose either a high loft or a low loft batting option. Now, a higher loft batting will give your quilt a thicker, more comforter-like finish. It's a really good option if you're going to be hand stitching or if you want to use the quilt as a showpiece. The higher loft will give your quilt really good dimension. Now, a lower loft will make for a flatter, more traditional quilt. This makes the quilt a lot less bulky to work with and makes hand stitching a lot easier.
Now let's get to the fibers. The fiber is what the type of material the batting is made of. A big difference in the cost can factor in depending on which type of material that you get for your fiber. Now, the three most common types, if you're leaning towards a little bit on the less expensive side, are cotton poly blend and 100% cotton. Now, if you're wanting a little bit more on the expensive side, there is the wool, bamboo, and silk in particular. It just varies on your price range and what you want. Now let's start with the first option, cotton. Now, cotton is a soft, breathable, natural fiber in particular, and it can feel like thick flannel, but definitely it is still good for daily use, as it is machine washable and dryable as well. Now, with cotton in particular, it can soften or shrink slightly when washed, but it does give it that perfect crinkled, lived-in look.
Now, compared to other batting types, cotton is one of the heaviest weights, which makes it great for almost any projects, but especially things like table mats, table runners, placemats, things like that.
Now we can move on to polyester. Now, it is the least expensive option as it is very durable and lightweight.
Now, polyester batting options are also typically warmer. It provides a lot of extra insulation without a lot of extra weight. This makes it really good for a wide variety of projects, especially because it tends to lay a lot flatter than wool or cotton batting. Now, another popular batting type is a cotton poly blend. There's a few things that you're going to want to keep in mind when you're looking at this specific type of batting. One of those is whether or not it has scrim. Now, scrim is going to be a thin layer of adhesive that's applied on either one or both sides of the batting. This just helps to keep the fibers from separating or stretching out during use. A fabric that has scrim is going to be a really great option, especially if you're going to be using machine quilting. The scrim allows you to place your stitches farther apart, so it's good to use on bigger projects that you're using a machine for.
Now, another version that batting can be described as is by needle punch. This just means that the fibers are mechanically fused together by little tiny needles. This creates a dense lower loft in the batting as well. This is a perfect version if you want to use it for machine quilting, but definitely avoid it with hand quilting in particular, as with how dense the fibers are.
Now, another version of batting is called fusible. Fusible means that the batting has a resin layer on both sides of the fabric. This allows you to baste your quilt by simply ironing the 3 layers of fabric together. You don't need to use any pins. This adhesive is temporary and is best to be used for smaller projects. Here we have an extra lofty needled fleece that is 100% polyester, and it is fusible on one side, so you'll notice there's this little bit of texture on this side and then the nice fleecy on the other side. Now, here we have a 100% cotton, no scrim needle punched batting. So as you can see, it does have just a little bit of a different texture because it is that needle punched kind of fabric.
Now we'll be talking about the next 3, which will be wool, bamboo, and silk. Now, it's definitely important to double check if your wool batting in particular is pre-shrunk, since it is made of 100% natural fibers. Now, with wool in particular, it is warmer but also fairly lightweight. Now, definitely if you want to use it for anything of hand quilting or machine quilting in particular, it is perfect for both. Definitely it is still on the higher price of end for if you're looking for something like that, since it is made of a higher cost of materials.
Now, bamboo is going to be the softest of the natural fibers. Typically, though, when you get a bamboo batting, it's not going to just be made of that. For example, this one is made of bamboo, silk, and cotton fibers. It's really great for machine quilting, however, it can have some shrinkage when washing.
Now, if you're looking for a good high fiber content for high quality projects, silk is the way to go. It's lightweight, breathable, and just all around fun. Now, silk in particular is good for bed quilts and garments in particular, but definitely always remember to hand wash and air dry. Definitely as well, if you want to work more with hand quilting in particular, silk is a very good choice.
Now that pretty much concludes talking about all of the different types of batting. The last thing that we want to mention is something else that you can use in quilting called interfacing. Now, interfacing serves a very different purpose than batting. While batting takes up that middle layer of your quilt, what interfacing does is it's something you can add to the back of your quilt block. It helps to stabilize the fabric and it adds firmness and support to your quilting project. So make sure to keep in mind when you're shopping online that you're not just checking out batting, but interfacing might also be a helpful thing to use in your project. Now here we have the interfacing fabric. So you can see this is quite a bit different than the batting. It's very thin, almost like a mesh-like texture, and that'll just make it a little bit easier to adhere to your fabric top. Now, if you've made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for sticking around. We hope that you've learned a lot about your different batting options and that the next time you go to start your quilt project, you're ready and prepared to choose the type of batting that's best for you. Make sure to leave a like and comment down below what kind of content you might want to see from us next. Bye!